Hi, my name is Claudia Bazán, and today I'll introduce you to Sushi Go Party. It is a game for 2 to 8 players that takes only 20 minutes to play by designer Phil Walker-Harding. Based on the mechanics of card drafting, players compete to combine cards of different types of sushi to win as many points as possible. The game is played over 3 rounds, with points being added up at the end of each round. After 3 rounds, the player who collects the most victory points will be the winner. Let's see how we play it. First of all, it is important to note that this game has a predecessor called Sushi Go, which has a lower number of players and far fewer types of sushi than what you can see here. So, there are a lot of sushi types to play with, from which we will choose 1 type of roll, 3 types of appetizers, 2 extras, and a dessert for each game. The nigiris you see here will always be present as they are the base cards of the game, scoring 1, 2, and 3 points for each type. In the manual, different combinations of sushi are shown, which indicate certain types of emphasis for the game, such as a game for less or more players, for experts, for beginners, more interactive or more competitive, and it also includes the original Sushi Go card game. There is total freedom to set up the type of game you want with your favorite sushi. Once we decide which sushi we want to play with, we look into our box and take out the tiles of each type of sushi and put them on the board. We also add all the cards to a common deck. Desserts are the exception, as we only add a certain amount of them in the first round. Then, in the second and third rounds, we add more of these ones to the deck. Turns are played under the drafting mechanic, in which a particular number of cards are dealt to each player, depending on the number of players. Then, simultaneously, all of them take a card they want to play and place it face down in front of them. Then, they all simultaneously reveal their cards and pass the deck of cards to the next player. This goes on until there are no more cards in the hand, at which point the round ends and the points are counted. The points are counted for all the sushi except for the desserts, as these are counted only at the end of the game. All the cards are collected in front of the players except the desserts. New desserts are added to the deck and shuffled to start a new round. At the end of the last round, the points are counted for the last time, together with the score for the desserts. The player with the most points at the end of the game is the winner. It is important to note that the manual contains good explanations of each type of cards in case you have doubts about their abilities. Here you can see some sample card types. At the end of each round, the maki gives 6 points to the player who has the most maki symbols, while the second player gets 3 points. The more gyozas you have, the more points you earn. 1 gyoza is 1 point, 2 is 3 points, 3 is 6 points, and so on. If you have 1 eel, it is minus 3 points, but if you have 2 or more, it is 7 points at the end of the round. If 1 miso soup has been played that turn, that player can keep it, gaining 3 points at the end of the round. But if 2 or more miso soups have been played in the same turn, all players must discard them. A single tempura card gives no points, but if you have 2 tempura cards, they give you 5 points at the end of the round. The menu allows you to draw 4 cards from the deck on the side of the board and choose one of them to play that turn. When the wasabi is played, the next nigiri played is placed on top of it, multiplying its points by 3. This green tea ice cream gives you 12 points if at the end of the game the player has 4 of these cards. Well, that's the game explanation. Now I'll tell you what I think about this game. First of all, this is a game with a lot of replayability by having all these types of sushi, making many combinations for all tastes. This game can also be played quite well with different amount of players. It's only necessary to keep in mind that certain types of cards allow you to play well with 2 players or with 7 to 8 players. But the good thing about this is that the manual recommendations are quite accurate. Another thing I like about this game is that although I normally do not like hate drafting, the game is so light that it ends up being quite an interesting dynamic not to give the card you know your opponent needs. This can even be useful to you if you come up with another strategy during the round. Now, this game can become too light for some people. In that sense, it can imply that you are not taking the game so seriously, making the decisions available not so interesting or challenging. Another fundamentally negative aspect of this game is that the board is too small for the pawns in a game for 6 or more players to run free on the score track. At most, 3 fit together in the same space, which makes counting a bit unpleasant. Finally, the box and inserts are a little bit awkward, being a metal box that doesn't fit with other game boxes you might own. And when I open the box, I often find that the cards are mixed and the player board and the manual don't fit quite right. Well, in any case, this is one of the most fun games I've ever played, with a very original theme and an infinite replayability. Now, its lightness and problems with the components is a bit off-putting, so I'll give this one an 8.5 out of 10 with a seal of approval from me. Thanks for watching, I'm Claudia Bazán and I'll see you in another round.